Hey, welcome everybody to the Heavy Metal Hideaway. Sorry it's taken so long for me to get another video out, but I wanted to discuss a little bit, a couple of concepts that are out there. They've been out there actually for a long, long time that probably everybody needs to understand a little bit better before they start throwing the word around, okay, or the words. And I guess we're going to, pardon me if I ramble a little bit, but we're going to go back to, let's say, 10,000 years ago, and humans were walking around the earth, kind of dragging their knuckles, didn't know what to do. Our sole purpose in life was to reproduce for the tribes, if we were in tribes. And there were hunters and there were gatherers, and we basically hunted meat and we gathered, berries from trees and various vegetation. There was no agriculture, there was no food processors, there were no chicken nuggets, there was nothing like that watered down and made our food bad. It was all good food. It was all pure food, and it was untouched by all kinds of chemicals and the genetically modified systems and things that are in place today to make our food more productive or whatever. So when we talk about food in that regard, we talk about paleo foods. Paleo meaning the least altered, um, the most closer to how nature produced the food as possible. Much more purer meats, organics. We have a lot of organic foods today. So, organic foods, foods that are not canned, foods that are actually um, fresh foods, fresh carrots, fresh broccoli, fresh foods that we can just go into the store, buy off the shelf. We have to keep it refrigerated because it's not processed, it's not canned, there's no salt added, there's no sugar added, it's not pre-cooked, etc., 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 okay? It does not come from a factory, it comes from the field. That's paleo, all right? So it's absolutely true that our bodies were intended to consume, digest, and put to use paleo foods. We perform better on paleo foods. And we are omnivores, whether some choose to venture off into vegetarianism or veganism, or we want to go in the exact opposite direction and we want to become keto because we're just going to eat a whole lot of meat. We're really intended to consume and use the vitamins, the minerals, the proteins, carbohydrates, and fats of all foods. Okay, even grains. So um, we just need to keep it on the paleo side, on the purest side, and we'll do fine with that. Some people say when they go into the grocery store, they shop around the edge of the grocery store because that tends to have the most paleo selections. If you go around the outside, usually you find the vegetables, the fruits. You come around past the meats, and you come around back around the other side. I mean, there's stuff mixed in with that. Obviously, I think that in our Publix, our local Publix stores, we have a bakery section which is not paleo, excuse me, and we have other things around the other side, a freezer section. But certainly, the outside of the store has better selections for us. Okay, so that's paleo. Keep our foods as paleo as possible because that is what our bodies are intended to run on. All right. When it comes to exercise, we'd like to make sure that when we exercise, the primary exercises that we want to use to make our bodies stronger are primal exercises. And what do I mean by that? Primal movements, primal exercises are primarily pushing, pulling, and squatting up and down. Now there are a lot of different variations of all that. There's the bench press, there's the shoulder press, there's the pull down, there's the pull up, okay? There's the seated row. There's all kinds of exercises that address these things. Certainly all squats are primal movements. Even your lunges are a primal movement. Your Bulgarians are a primal movement. And of course, we've talked before about angles, making sure that we change angles of our feet, of our grips, to make sure we hit all different areas of the muscle, okay? All those movements, pushing, pulling, and squatting, where we're pressing our weight, our body weight especially, even push-ups, they are primal movements. Once we get past the primal movements are essentially there to build muscle, to make us stronger. Once we get past those, sure, we can add in things like machine leg extensions, machine leg curls. We can add in a lot of cable movements because cable movements tend to define the muscle a little bit better than primal movements. Okay, primal movements build. A lot of cable movements, or most cable movements, define, as do leg extensions and so forth and so on. All right, so let's make sure that when we set up our exercises, when we set up our splits, primal movements have to play a very, very big part in our exercise splits because they are the ones that we're counting on to build the muscle. All right, primal movements, pushing, pulling, squatting. All right. Now you're going to get all this straight. We're going to put all this together, and hopefully it'll mean a stronger you, a better nourished you, and certainly you're going to do much better in the gym and on the stage. All right. Thank you very much.